Next up on Street You Grew Up On is an award-winning phenom of an actress, filmmaker, producer, entrepreneur, leader. She advocates for women-centered narratives in all areas of her career, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the scenes. She's phenomenal. Please say hello to my friend, Elizabeth Banks.
Hi! I love it. Your show stars. Hi. Oh, God. And so good to see you.
It's so good to see you.
Hi, come sit down. Oh my gosh, I was like, I'm not gonna wear heels. No one's gonna see our feet. But I was like, she'll be so dressed up.
Whatever.
I had to get
clean for you.
Please, I'm wearing
dressed up for
very
you.
old.
So cute.
Oh,
Yes.
Hi.
Yes. Hi. So I want to jump right in. Tell me the name of the street. Well, tell me the name of the street you grew up on by telling me your porn name.
My porn name is the pet.
Yeah,
right?
the name of the first pet
and the street. Sophie Brown.
That's
not that great.
That's good.
Great.
I like it.
Sophie was a rabbit.
Oh,
She was a bunny.
That's
she was a little
sweet.
white bunny. Yeah.
that's sweet. Was she yours or like the family?
No, the family.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm the oldest of 4.
Wow.
So
Nice girls.
Although my brother was not born when we had Sophie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So it's
12
fine.
years younger than me.
Wow.
So at the time, it was the 3 girls, and it was our little.
Is it? So it's 3 girls and a boy.
Yeah.
Wow. And you're the oldest. And tell me about that house. It was Brown Street.
Brown Street. I grew up at 101, 103. So I don't think the street is not exclusively duplexes, but it's mostly duplexes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like very
So-
New England-y, Boston kind
It's actually Pittsfield is where I grew up. Pittsfield, Massachusetts. It's a these chairs are so far apart.
Sorry.
It's a I know I want to be close to you. It's a factory town. It's an old factory town. So in the 70s, it was all about General Electric. That was our main industry there. GE had a
all
huge
the
factory,
families worked
and
in
all
the
the families
factory.
worked there. Yeah,
Okay.
or like supported,
Yes.
you know, the community that worked there. Exactly. So my dad worked in the factory. He worked for General Electric for 33 years. He worked in the Pittsfield factories. There are multiple factories in Pittsfield. He worked in a couple different ones there, and then ended up in Schenectady, New York, in their factory there. So he commuted at the hour. I think it's an hour and 10 minutes each way. My dad lived on the same street, except for this time in the Navy, until 10 years ago. He lived on the same street for 60-something years.
In that house on Brown Street?
He lived in 2 separate houses. So I grew up at 101, 103, and my grandparents were at 165, 167.
Was your mom from the same area as well?
My mom's from Boston.
Wow. So not far.
No, not far.
But he bought a house just a few houses down from his mom.
My uncle actually owned the house, Kerry.
A family affair. A for real family
A
affair.
big family affair. I'm from a big family. My dad's one of 8 and my mom's one of 7.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I have a huge family.
Okay. And was everybody in the area?
Not everybody, but a lot of fucking
Mostly.
people. Yeah. So on my street, for instance, when I was growing up, my grandparents were sort of like the central spot. My uncle was living down the street at the other house, and we moved into the duplex above them, the upstairs.
Yeah.
They lived in the downstairs. And then eventually, you know, we were doing well enough. They moved out, and we took over the whole
The whole
house.
thing. Because with
Yeah.
4 kids, you needed
Yeah.
a room.
So we took over.
Did you have your own bedroom or were you always sharing with sisters?
I got my own bedroom when I was like 12 or 13.
Oh.
Yeah.
So before that,
Always shared.
with which
And I
sister?
make my kids share.
You do?
I do.
Your boys are together.
Yep.
Did you play with lots of kids on the street or because there were 4 of you, you kind of...
No, we played with tons of kids on the street. Big Irish Catholic family lived at the top of the street. My best friend was Irish Catholic. Yeah, so the Ladleys were at the top. They'll love hearing this. Rosemary's still, the mom is still with us and still in that same house.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so there was a whole gang of us
Yeah.
that lived there, the Brown Street crew.
Yes.
Carrie,
Yeah, of course.
obviously.
Oh, infamous.
The BSC. And there was a bunch of other kids mixed in there as
Neighboring
well.
blocks.
And every once in a while, my cousins were living with my grandparents or whatever. So there was a whole,
Was
a
it
whole gang.
tag? Was it like in my neighborhood there was a stick ball? Like what were you out playing?
Kick the can was probably the most famous thing that we did. we were never in the house. I mean, it was like, go outside and play until I call you or the streetlights come on. And then the streetlights come on, they say, okay, you've checked in, now go back outside. You know what I mean?
Right,
like
it's not and go back.
Yeah.
What was your bedroom like? Like, what did you care about? What was up on the wall?
Tiger beat, centerfold. You know, and I loved all the people everyone loved.
Did you love the boy bands and the...
New Kids on the Block. They're from Massachusetts.
Oh, so you were loyal. You were loyal.
Yeah. Marky Mark is from Massachusetts.
Yes, of course. What was the vibe like inside the house? Like, was there a lot of artwork? Were you a religious family? Was there scripture on the wall, or was there...
It was messy. We had a messy house.
Lots of kids.
Too many kids, laundry everywhere. You know what I mean? It was small. It's not a big place.
Right.
One bathroom.
Yes.
So that was probably
for six people.
Six, yeah, until we took over the whole house, and then it was just 2 bathrooms.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, so it was a lot of like, how do you get your time? And one of the bathrooms was off the kitchen. So it was like Grand Central.
And was the kitchen the center of everything?
Yeah, pretty
Is your mom or dad, who did the cooking?
They both cooked. My dad's actually a really great cook. He has some, you know, family favorites. He makes an incredible meatball. He did a whole routine with the meatball. You know, we would all get to put our hands in it and like really make it with him. And then he would, the egg, get the egg in there, get the ketchup and the mustard and the whatever in there, you know, and the breadcrumbs and really get into it. And we put like a little oil on our hands, I remember, and I still do this with my kids. But then he would make it into a football. That was like his big deal. So he would like make it into a football. And he would kind of toss it and it'd become this whole game. And,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, that made us very...
And do you still do that? You do that with your kids?
I do that with my
that's so
kids.
fun. And then he broke it off into meatballs.
And then, no, that was meatloaf.
That was
when he put that one into the loaf pan.
Yes.
After it was in a beautiful football. That I don't know. He that was his football. Yeah, I think...
What other favorite
The traditions, like we ate a lot of iceberg lettuce, a lot of chicken, a lot of potatoes.
Right.
You know, like I said, Irish.
What about like music and television? Like
our big traditions were on the weekends. And remember, you know, in the winter, like it was cold. My dad made us an ice rink in the backyard.
No.
Yeah.
Did you have a pool that you...
No.
How did he do that?
You take the hose out. You just take the hose out and you just stand there. And normally, I think he would do it like on a Sunday afternoon with a beer. He would listen on the radio to games, you know, so he would listen to football and he loved to listen to baseball. Like the sound in my house that makes me the most nostalgic, I think, is baseball on the radio. And in the car, too, because we did a lot of traveling down to Boston to see my mother's family on the weekends. And on that ride, we would listen to a lot of baseball.
Games.
Yeah, so games on the radio really puts me in a spot. Yeah.
Obviously, a huge Red Sox.
My father is a Yankees fan.
What?
Yeah.
I knew I loved him. How did that happen? And how did he survive on enemy territory?
It's a very, very divided house.
Did you love the Yankees or did you side with your mom?
I sided with the Red Sox. And also because, like, what was it, 88, right? They were in the World Series.
Right.
It was so, I remember everyone at school made signs and, like, there were teachers that had tickets and it was, like, so exciting. Yeah. The whole community was into it. So, definitely Red Sox.
Did you watch, like, where did you start falling in love with the arts and acting? Were there TV shows you watched or did you go to the movies a lot?
We got to have sugar cereals on the weekends. So we would literally get like Fruit Loops or Lucky Charms.
Oh, man.
And we would sit with our hands just in there, just eating it like popcorn in front of the Saturday morning cartoons, which I know you watched.
Yes.
So that was the jam.
100%.
The Smurfs and He-Man.
Back to back.
She-Ra. Boom, boom, boom. We got so many good ones.
Yeah.
So we would do that on the Saturday morning, and then it was black and white, old movie time. My parents we loved Shirley Temple. We loved Abbott and Costello.
Wow.
We did a lot of like the old like Frankenstein movies. We did tons of movie musicals. My mother loves movie musicals. My mother loves Barbra Streisand.
Yes.
She loves A Funny Girl, like all the 60s stuff. So that's what bonded us on the weekends. We would watch the Sunday, kind of what like TCM is now. it was all classic movies on the weekends for us. So like Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein or whatever would be like one of our jams. Yeah.
And everybody, all the kids, everybody.
We got, and then of course we had to go to church.
Oh.
Yeah.
Every Sunday.
Or Saturday afternoon,
Oh.
4:30 mass.
Did you dress up for church or not really?
No. And you could walk. It was right down the street. And we normally went with other kids or families. We were all in CCD together. Yeah.
Saturday school, whatever.
Yeah. So catechism.
Yeah.
So for us, that was during the week. And I also went to Sunday school with my cousins at their church. They were Protestant. So it was an awful lot.
Do you still go to church?
No. I'm Jewish now.
How? Did you convert?
I never had a mikvah.
Mm-hmm. But culturally.
Yeah. I'm Jewish for sure.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not, I love, this is such a much longer conversation, but, I think growing up Catholic as a young feminist woman was, a lot of eye-opening for me. So
it was challenging.
It was challenging. It was challenging to see, like, all my male friends were altar boys. But like I don't see myself up there at all, on that altar. And I think organized religion is an incredible tool for families. I felt that as a kid, the pancake breakfast and just the weekly tradition of like taking time for family and taking time to just even just taking time, period, full stop. Like we are going to spend the next hour in this building together, creating community with other people. Regardless of what we're all saying, I like the rituals of any church I go to around the world. Like I know what the mass is. I'm grateful for those things. So I'm grateful for a lot of it. But I think that just that Apostles' Creed. I don't know, man. It doesn't ring true for me. And so I think you have to sort of make peace with like what you can accept from all of that and what kind of just felt nonsensical to me at a certain point.
Was it hard for you to chart that path given that the street you grew up on was
I'm a
so
strident person.
Yeah.
So I wasn't alone. I had friends
who were questioning.
We were just but by the time you're getting confirmed, you're 15, 16 years old. You're like, really? I'm gonna wait until marriage? I'm not. Like, do you know what I mean? I was like, I'm going to, what? That alone just made no sense to any of my friends.
Right.
I think it's good to question everything.
Yeah. It's amazing, actually, to come from such a strong community, like that everybody on the street shared this background, but that you weren't tied to having to hold on to everything that identity meant.
Yeah. I think it was also a period of time when so much was changing for people too. And my town, Pittsfield, it's really broke up into literal parishes. I lived in St. Mary's Parish, and I went to St. Mary's Church in my parish.
Wow.
Yeah, that's very old. It's very Massachusetts.
Very old school.
Yeah.
Wow. What were your sports?
Well, my biggest one was softball. I was on the all-star team. We traveled. I played in the outfield with one of my best friends, Debbie Munger. She was a redhead, and we were called the Vacuums because we would suck up every ball that came out there.
Yes.
And we were quite good. And then I broke my leg sliding into third base.
Oh no! How old were you?
Really badly. I was 12, going on 13, and yeah, and so I was on crutches and in a leg cast for a really long time, and then I had a surgery on my leg, and it did not, So, but the great news is that brought me to acting because I had always sung in the choir.
Okay.
And suddenly, that was kind of all I could do after school. Latchkey kid. It's like, we gotta go do something after school.
Yeah.
So I was offered, they were doing Pontius Pilate, and I was offered the role of Pontius Pilate in Jesus Christ Superstar. We were doing Jesus Christ Superstar. A lot of Jesus talk today.
Yeah.
Great guy, by the way.
Yeah.
And
I'm a fan.
I'm a fan too. The point was I could wear a robe over my walking cast, because at that point I was gonna have a walking cast. I mean, there's no nerdier, dorkier situation than being like, you're gonna play the male role in the musical,
That's a good role.
In a walking cast. It is a great role. It is great. It's a great song.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
I can still sing it. But I mean, everyone wanted to be Mary Magdalene. Come on.
Of course.
So I played Pontius Pilate, but I got the bug. I got bit.
Yeah.
I just really enjoyed doing it and
What a blessing.
kept doing it in high school.
Were you rewarded? Like, were people like, she's so good? Or did you just love it?
I don't recall being rewarded. I recall loving it.
Just loving it.
Yeah, I recall feeling internally like turned on by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was exciting.
And then did you start doing more plays in school?
Yeah, I did plays after I did all of that in high school, and I did drama in college, but it was not a career, or a life, or it was not a dream. Being an actor was not my dream at all. Zero.
What was your dream?
Zero dream of
Brown
being an
Street. What was your dream?
Get off Brown Street. That was my dream.
Done. You did that. Really? There was no like, I want to be a veterinarian, or I want to be a farmer.
I thought I could do a lot of things, and I knew I wanted to get really well educated, which I did.
Mm-hmm.
And because I thought that was a good pathway
Out.
to making money. I mean, honestly, growing up struggling it's not fun
all the time.
It's not fun all the time. And watching my parents deal with all that and having to make really hard decisions about, paying a gas bill late, or water bill, or, the oil truck coming, or the car, or, God forbid you got into, we were those families were like $250 is going to put us back, right? Mm-hmm. Kamala Harris talks about it all the time. Like that was my family. It was like one bad thing happened and we were going to be showering at grandma's house.
Safety net, yeah.
No safety net. Yeah. So that was not interesting to me.
Yeah. Wasn't sexy. Were you privy
not
to
interesting
that? Like as a kid, were you aware?
Well, I was the oldest, so I often was called in to like babysit or, backstop some, of that. And I started working when I was 12. So I worked at the Catholic Youth Center, speaking of. So it was really, it was all a big part of my life. I worked at the Catholic Youth Center in the game room and at the front desk on the weekends, where they had like a basketball league and a cheerleading league. And I did like memberships and took, dues and poured people coffee. And
that money, did you get to keep it and spend it, or did you contribute it to the family?
It was my way of getting what I needed. Like if I want a pair of jeans.
Not being a burden on
them.
Yeah.
If I want to go to the movies, I don't have to ask for money. That was my way of like, helping.
Wow.
And so yes, I was privy to it, in that it created a work ethic and a drive in me that, I just knew I didn't want to struggle like that.
One of my favorite things about how you live your career is that that you are such a leader, right? That you are a director, that you're a producer, that you create work. Do you feel like that comes from being the oldest, from like being somebody who has to contribute, be a leader, step ahead?
For sure, it must be. It's interesting because I don't spend a ton of time analyzing it.
You just do.
So thank you for that question. I'm a real doer. I think that I really feel grateful that I figured this out, how to have this life. Because like I said, it wasn't part of any plan. I formed a plan very late as I was going through it, like, oh, this door's open, let me walk through it, and like, if I walk through it, maybe then I'll go to do this and da-da-da. So it did connect quickly, and I was working quickly, once I committed to it. So that gratitude has partially really led me to just feeling like I love the responsibility for other people when I can make it work. I like saying to somebody like, I want to figure out how to turn your book into something. You're doing this now too, right? It's like, I love being able to say to, some podcaster, like, we love your story. Will you let us
take it to the next level?
How can we collaborate, And then really the collaboration is what I love. And when I think about how I grew up, surrounded by family, so many cousins. So we're still going on reunion trips together. Like, so many kids. This just sense of like we're all in it together and doing things together. And like, yes, I went from, team sports to doing the play, because the play to me was like a team sport. Like, you still have to do it together. You still have to know all your parts. It has to work in tandem, and people clap at the end.
Yes, yeah.
It's all going to work.
Yeah.
So that to me, it was always about the collaboration and the sense of fulfillment that I got, like doing a good job for other people, like as part of something else. So
seeing yourself in a leadership position, was that always a part of it?
Yeah, I was always, I was like, I was in student leadership in high school, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I just liked, I'm like, did I like attention, Kerry? I don't know, probably.
Yeah.
And I think it's also that I've always, it was like a little bit of a chip on the shoulder of like, I just gotta do more. Like, I can't, like, I'm not going to college. My parents couldn't afford to send me to college. So, like, I had to, if I was going to go to college, like, I had to figure that out.
Yeah, make it
So, I better be in student leadership. I better get a scholarship. I better volunteer. I better do this. I better do that. So, like.
So, I'm undeniable.
I got to be
That's how I think of you in the business, too, that you've made yourself undeniable.
And reliable.
Like, yeah,
right?
Both of those things.
Yes.
Like, somebody knows if they hire you, you're going to deliver.
I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to work my tail off for you. And I'm going to do that no matter what role in the process I'm playing. I want to give 110%.
Yeah. And you don't wait for other people to give you that chance also. You're like, if you're not going to give me that chance, I'm going to create it for myself.
I mean, my gosh, if I waited for opportunity, I'd still be on Brown Street.
That's right. But that let you keep taking risks.
Yeah, because I had all the safety nets. I had a loving family, had my back. I had a great education, had my back. I was employable. And then, and I was scrappy. Yeah. And that's what kept me going.
Yeah.
I had a great husband.
Yeah, that's huge.
A great partner.
That's huge.
Absolutely huge.
I always say to girlfriends, it's like one of the most important business decisions you make.
Yes.
Partner.
Yes, absolutely.
Even if they're in a totally different field, it doesn't matter.
Oh,
no. Do they have your back?
Are they hoping that dream comes true for you too? Without reservations.
Is there anything from your house on Brown Street, a person, a ritual, an object that you would bring into your life now?
Well, I have one object that is, again, it's from my grandmother's house, but it's the house the street I grew up on.
Yeah.
My grandparents had a jar for candy. They had a candy jar that we would raid all the time. And then
which is
she
always full.
had, magically always full.
Yeah.
Because she's a grandmother.
Yeah, that's what they do.
And then she had this really beautiful, like, carved brass turtle. And anyway, when my grandparents passed, that ended up in my house. Sorry, everybody. I have it. I think most people know. My siblings.
Is it in your office, your living? Like, do your kids play with it?
It's on a big bookshelf. Yeah, with other little trinkets.
Yeah. Tchotchkes.
Tchotchkes. Yeah.
Wow. If you could say anything to that little girl on Brown Street, what would you say to her?
I would tell her. I would give her a lot of confidence. I'd tell her what she's doing is right. Questioning everything is right. Working hard is right. Trying hard, being earnest about it, it's okay. You don't have to be cool. I think it's okay if you're not the coolest,
right?
Because you actually care. Because I think a lot of young people have a hard time with earnestly caring about things. And I would tell her that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So part of what I love having these conversations with people is it feels like we all grew up in our own little kingdoms, our own little, in the fairy tale of our life that's unfolding. So did your kingdom have its own language? I imagine very different from the Bronx. There were things you said.
If you want to learn how to speak Massachusetts, you just watch Good Will Hunting. It's in the movie.
Yeah.
Massachusetts people, we go hard.
Okay.
We don't mess around.
And that doesn't matter in Eastern, Western Mass. That's just like...
Not really.
No.
So we're all connected by the Pike. That's what we call it. The Massachusetts Turnpike.
My mom got her doctorate at Amherst.
Oh.
Commuting while I was in kindergarten. So we have a picture of us in caps and gowns. So she was, so I spent a little bit of time as a kid, but she was still.
I think a really famous one is Packy.
I don't know what that is.
A Packy.
What's a Packy?
Packy is short for package store. And it's typically, so it's a convenience store. Used to be Cumberland Farms. That's like one of the most
like the
famous Packy.
Okay.
It's very much like a 7-Eleven, but
like a bodega.
Packy almost like a bodega. It's basically a bodega, but mostly also sells liquor. So you go to the Packy to get the 6.
Oh, to get the 6. I like that.
So the Packy.
What else? Give me a couple.
A Pissa. It's Pissah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
ER.
It's supposed to be ER. It's supposed to be PIS. It's like a pisser. So a Pissa is it's the ultimate party.
Oh.
It's like a party where people get pissed.
Like it's lit.
Get drunk. It's lit. Exactly. It's a Pissa. And in Massachusetts, it's the really, really ultimate party.
Yeah.
It's a wicked Pissa.
A wicked Pissa.
Because wicked is like that is our word. So wicked.
Where that came from?
Wicked is like the F word. It just means you use it to extremely awesome.
Yeah, wicked.
Awesome is also very Massachusetts. So a wicked awesome Pissa, where you had to go to the Packy Fest. That
to get the 6.
would be
wow,
I
love that.
Yeah, and we eat grinders.
What is that?
Grinders are. Do you have hoagies?
That's Philly, more Philly. What, like a Hero or a Subway?
Hero or Subway. Yeah.
That's
the
the
sandwich.
thing?
Submarine sandwich.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are.
Do you use any of those in your life? Maybe Wicked.
I use Wicked all the time.
Your kids know.
And I get caught with friends from Massachusetts saying Wicked, like just very,
Yeah.
We have a silly like, oh, there it is, came out. I say Wicked a lot.
Yeah.
I say Wicked a lot, and I don't use Pissa as much, but I went to a lot of Wicked Pissas when I was growing up.
Now when I see you at these like fancy Halloween parties, I'm gonna be like,
is it a Pissa? We don't know.
So a good Wicked Pissa. Wicked Pissa. Wicked. You gotta like the Wicked Pissa.
Yeah.
You could pick up a 6, or you could pick up
archery.
I want to ask you about this. So this is a new endeavor for you.
Newish. Came out in the pandemic.
Amazing. So what made you?
I was looking for wine.
When everyone was looking for wine. What made you start this new venture?
Well, I joined the company partially because they are really, first of all, it's wine. So Archeroos is the company. It's luxury wine in cans. Feels very me.
That is you.
I know.
You're like a very.
I've now been telling a story where I feel like
accessible way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up drinking fancy wine.
Right.
And I enjoy as most people do, a great glass of wine and being and a refreshing glass of wine. It's been really fun to grow a company.
Yeah.
Start something fresh and really grow it. And also, she's from Massachusetts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My co-owner and founder is also a Masshole.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you think about your life, which is clearly an unfolding fairy tale, because you're not at the end, there's so much adventure to still be had.
Thank you for saying that.
There's so much adventure to still be had.
I am halfway.
Yeah, maybe. No,
definitely.
Life expectancy is getting longer and longer.
Not getting that long. It's okay. I like being a half.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's good.
So in the story of your life,
yeah,
for me, this conversation is so great because we're talking about your once upon a time, right? Like where the seeds were planted.
Yeah.
So finish this sentence for me, or like finish the beginning of the story for me.
Of the once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, there was an eldest daughter, the oldest sister, the best friend, the devoted partner, the best mom, good partner, the talented director, actress, writer, producer, the entrepreneur, the business owner, the activist, the interested citizen in the world around her that got halfway through and was most excited for what was next.
I love that.
I just made myself cry.
That was so moving. You are all of those things.
I know, I'm fairly proud.
You should be. And what an example to like stake your claim. You know what I mean? Like to say I'm all these things.
Yeah.
I feel like Brown Street really gave you a really strong foundation
It
to
did.
be navigating.
Yeah, I still go back there. I still take my kids along that street and go, here's how mommy grew up. And, you know, you'll be, I get real grateful being on that street these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really grateful for everything that I've been able to accomplish.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks everybody. That was great. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Elizabeth Banks. I loved hearing about her adventures on Brown Street. Make sure that you catch up on the rest of the season. Grab an Archer Roost. She told you where to get it. You can watch all the episodes from this season so far and the last 2 seasons. Make sure that you like and subscribe. And if you want to hear more about the street that I grew up on, you can pick up my memoir, Thicker Than Water, and maybe drink your wine while you read that too. See you back here soon.